So, hi everybody. I'm Jane Boyd, as you know, co-founder of How Bright Can You Shine, and I'm absolutely honoured and delighted to welcome Sue Gilstrap to our interview chamber today. Hi, Sue, and welcome. Thank you so much for agreeing to be part of our interview series. Sue's a member of ours. She's a very active member, and Sue has a huge vision, which I am so excited to be part of in a way. So we're going to be digging deeper with Sue and finding out all about that vision and all about what got her there in the first place and where she's heading next. So Sue, first thing to ask is, can you just give us a mini biography of yourself, please?
Okay, wow. All right. I was trying to think about that. I was like, what do I say? So I've been married 36 years to my husband, Rich. We have 8 beautiful children. I still have 2 teenagers in my house.
Oh, what age?
They are 16 and 17.
Wow.
Right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are my babies. Babies. My oldest is 35.
Wow.
So, yeah. And I have 6 grandbabies currently, with 1 more on the way this year.
That's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. So they're spread out. I currently have a daughter on a missions trip in South Africa.
Yeah. So, that's kind of how we met, isn't it, in a way?
Yeah. So all my children she's number 6. All my children up to her have done missionary trips to other parts of the world. So
I know. And I know you said to me recently, when I said to you, don't you think it's coming up to your turn? And you said, oh, I'm just too busy. And I thought, oh, I'm sure we can persuade you to come and do some work with us in Swaziland at some point.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. So the next question is, so what or who do you have a heart for helping?
All people. Basically, I really want people to live on purpose and with a passion. And my biggest issue is seeing people just living a mundane life and no drive and no passion and no vision. So, but one of my really big heart things is single moms and their children. And I guess children and young people are huge on my top list.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So those people.
Children and young people.
Yeah.
So the next question, and I'm so excited for you to reveal this. So what's your vision for your voluntary work and how did you come up with it?
So, for the last, 25 years or so, my husband and I have wanted to start a place that would not only house but train single moms with children, either coming out of abusive situations or drug or homelessness or situations like that. And just give them, don't just hand out stuff, but give them a hand up and living a better life and helping them find their passion and their purpose in life, and to really train them how to raise their children. So we break that cycle of staying, the family staying where they're at. So currently I'm working with my pastor to start on a small scale in our church, opening up our church during the week and meeting the needs of especially homeless moms with children, and bringing community around them and getting them to the next level, giving them a step up. So,
yeah.
Then you want me to tell you the next step?
Do?
I don't know. The next step is the brewery. That's what actually, when I lived in Oregon, in the United States, I keep forgetting this is worldwide. Oregon in the United States, which is on the Pacific coast, I found an abandoned hospital that we wanted to turn over into this project. And when we moved up to Washington, there's an old brewery complex that has, I believe there's 6 or 7 buildings to it, large, very large, that when I saw it, I just felt that I was going to have it and turn it into a complex that not only had businesses that funded the whole thing, but also trained the moms in a vocation, or at least gave them an ability to get into the world in a workforce, and also have a place for them to live, and also have training and counseling to get them either out of drug abuse or abusive situations, or I've also like trafficked girls, like get those in there and bring them through healing, which takes counseling and stuff. So all 3 of those things, to bring them in and have housing for them, have counseling, help them take next steps, figure out what the next step is, and train them.
And that's a God-given vision, right?
Yes, it is, definitely.
And it's just beautiful, isn't it? I'm like, I so wish that you were in my city. Because we would just be like, okay, that's fine. Can we have an office? We're going to come and work with your ladies. We'd love it. That is just amazing.
Well, my vision for the last several years is have them in major cities around the world. Complexes like these. So that's always been my vision for the last 20 years. I don't know how to get it off the ground. I've talked to a lot of people and they're just like, okay, that's really big. I'm like, yeah, somebody help me. So
yeah, that's
how to do it.
So. God's bigger than that, isn't he? He can do it.
Yes. Yeah.
That's excellent. So how did you feel when you first kind of got that vision and decided it's what you wanted to achieve? How do you feel now about it?
Like 20, 25 years ago, I was very excited and very, I don't know if it's innocent or naive. It's like, we're going to do this, and just like, it's just going to happen kind of thing, and just really praying into it. I did take steps to learn. I've done a lot of counseling and training counseling and things like that. Help people on the ground right then. Many homeless women or women in abusive situations with children, and got them into what was happening then, not my place, but other programs that were happening around me. So very excited, and just felt like it was going to happen. Now, some 20 years later, I've always worked with women and children, and women coming out of either drugs or abusive situations, and a lot of children. But the big step is like, okay, I need help to do this, because it's just not going off the ground. And I see others around me doing these big things, and I'm like, I don't know how they're achieving that. I don't know exactly how, because the brewery complex, I think right now it's around $28 million. And then it has to all be updated. So another several million to get it updated into what I would want it to be.
Gosh,
so
huge,
it's not a drop in a bucket.
No. And then you've got to run it after that as well, haven't you?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Huge.
It is huge.
Yeah. But so what? This can be done, can't it?
I try not to say the number part. So I'm like, okay, let's just not look at the numbers part.
Let's just do it.
Just ignore that part.
So I know that you said that one of the things you've done is you've kind of got yourself some counselling skills, but what other steps have you taken towards this? You've clearly checked out how much it's going to cost to buy.
Right.
Anything else?
For the exact brewery part or for the ministry overall?
I suppose for the ministry overall.
I mean, I guess I've done a lot of training, like through several different counseling, emotional counseling, spiritual, life coaching. I have a lot of different licensing for those situations. I've also actually worked with the people, so I know actually things not to do. And
Right. Yeah.
what works, what doesn't work, what just enables them, and what gives them a step up. So actually just put those skills immediately into practice.
Yeah.
So I could learn from that. So, and volunteered a lot of my time with doing the counseling and such over the years. So we've also had a lot of people in our home, living in our home, and things like that too. So, yeah.
And did you say to me that you're just converting your garage into somewhere that people can stay as well?
So my vision with that we're working on right now, and I'd like to actually go community wide, is to talk to people, and if they have a garage or an extra building on their property, that we can make into a small temporary studio for housing for homeless mom and kids, or even just for them to come and clean up, stay for a rest period. Many of them are really leery of going into a place.
Yeah.
They're very unsure of what motives are of people that are trying to help them.
Yeah.
So, but I would like to, I'm getting it all lined up to actually our county just made this deal. If you are making over your garage or a small building on any property, they are cutting the permit fee cost and doing a bunch of other stuff with costs and things, because our homeless problem is so terrible. So if you will allow, a homeless person to be housed for temporary, they are doing that. So working with that, my husband does, that's what he does. He actually manages 3 apartment complexes. So he knows how to turn over properties. And then my son is getting his contracting license. So anyway, working with those two and turning over these properties into temporary housing for women, either in abusive situations that need to get out, or home. There's a lot of people living in their cars, especially the moms with kids are typically living in a car.
Oh goodness.
So we're not reaching out to the they're out there because they just do drugs and they want to be there.
Yeah.
That's a whole different people, and so that's not who we're trying to reach. We're trying to reach the moms with kids, and I mean, even families. Typically, it's just a mom with kids. I mean, that's what we see a lot here. So trying to and getting them. We also have, either in abusive situations or something like that they need to get out of quickly, and they need temporary housing for. So anyway, I'd like to do that. We're starting in our church. I'd like to talk to other churches in the area and see people. There's a lot of people who have their original house that they lived in when they raised their children, and now it's just the 2 of them, and they have a ton of space.
Yeah.
Or things. So you have to be careful, and you have to know, who you're bringing in and stuff, but you can also do it so that those places there's a door that's locked, and it's, not free to come into your home and stuff. So that's what we'd be doing.
And I guess the mom would feel safer that way as well, wouldn't she? And the children. Yeah. Wow. So there's a lot already been done and being done that kind of helps you to, I suppose, learn what needs to happen when you get to the brewery stage, and
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
gets you in touch with and connecting with people who might be able to influence funding from, governmental sources, I guess. Is there?
So I'm not. That's the thing. I don't know how to do it at all.
Right.
I'm just clueless in that
Okay.
arena. So yeah, the funding part is just, it has always been the issue for me. I don't know how to approach that or who to approach. Or I've looked up some grants and stuff. And the other thing with this property is it's a very historic, the Olympia Brewing Company is very historical and started here like way back when, early 1900s. So there's a lot of stipulations on the property.
Yeah, I can imagine. But
So
I don't know about the US, but I do know a little bit about the UK. And I think, well, in the UK, definitely, there is government funding in what we call heritage funding. So, you're doing up a building that's got some kind of historical importance in the area. You get some extra money. So, but it's a very complex thing, and I know that you kind of need to know what words to use in order to be able to press the right buttons, so
right.
that the money starts to flow. So I'm guessing that it's a similar thing where you are.
Yeah.
And hopefully this is where How Bright Can We Shine comes in. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about, I know this were early days, aren't we, but what your hopes are for your project with How Bright Can We Shine?
So do you want me to tell you about the brewery or the church part?
Probably the
small
brewery.
part.
The
The
brewery.
brewery. Okay.
Yeah.
And so what Karen was saying, which made a lot of sense to me, because I couldn't wrap my head around how people around the globe could be a part of this project.
Yeah.
But what Karen was saying to me is that, I mean, knowledge, of course, and I need that.
Yeah.
I need the knowledge, and especially the legalities and the funding and that kind of thing. So the brewery, and what my hope for the brewery is they have this one building that I'd like to turn into businesses that will train up the women, and if the kids are old enough to work, that too, but to train them up in a vocation or in just out of work.
Yeah.
And that will also fund some of the whole thing. I also want to have one of the buildings as housing. They're like not so much skyscrapers, but they're probably 8 to 10 floors, I would say.
Yeah.
The taller buildings. So one of those as housing, temporary housing, like, I don't know, I just threw out the number like 6 to 8 months, and then get them into, there's a lot of property, so I'd want to build tiny homes. That would be their next step in their individual home with their kids, and then help launch them into the community. Next step, help them rent a house or get into a house somehow. So just take them through those steps. So with the community, I could see, needing information, needing wisdom, knowledge, if anybody's done something like this, the funding, the things I need to step through with that. One of the things that has really made me stuck is this thing with the stipulations on the on the property. Because it was a brewery, they definitely want to have a brewery in there, in part of it somewhere. And then there's just some stipulations that they say this has to happen.
Yeah.
So that's some of the things. I don't want the town and the county to have their hands all over, like, oh, you can't do that, you can't do this, that's not allowed. kind of thing. So I like all that wiped away.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, or just have it in the oldest part. And you said send you some pictures. I'll send you some. But there's the oldest part that's almost 200 years old. And then there's newer parts that are more like 70 or 80 years old. So I don't think there's so much into the newer parts. I think they really want to see the older part kept like a brewing company, or have some of that background involved in it. So the knowledge of how to get around some of that stuff. This brewery property has been bought 3 times in the last 10 years and resold because the county would not allow them to do what they want to do. So
now that sounds a bit scary, but on the other hand, I'm thinking that might be good news for you.
Right, I know. And that's what some other people is like, oh, God's just saving it for you. Like, yeah, that sounds like that's right.
And not only that, it makes it worth less money. You have to pay less for it, don't you?
Right, yeah.
That's exciting.
In one part.
Exciting. So sorry, go on.
Oh, I was just saying, one part homeless people got into, and they caught it on fire. So that part's burnt now. And I mean, so there's been all the windows were broke out. So now they've got them all wooded over. Yeah. So there has been a lot because it's set there I think it's set empty for at least 15 years.
Yeah.
It may have been longer than that, but it's been empty for quite a few years.
Yeah. So. Sounds like it's ready to be.
Yeah.
to be freshened up.
Yeah. Definitely.
So yeah, it sounds like it's a big project, and what I wanted to say was that this is just one of the key things about How Bright Can We Shine. I feel really excited about this project because for me it lends itself exactly to what we're all about, which is providing ways to connect people so that they can learn from each other and help each other to achieve something that otherwise they wouldn't be able to achieve on their own. And so it's not just about if we've got members who can help you with this, but it's about, have we got members who know people who can help you with this?
Right.
And so, and already I know that one of our members is getting in touch with some potential people who might be able to do some helping. So yeah. I'm just excited to see how it comes out.
Yeah.
That's good. Who's helped you most in your journey so far in working towards this goal of making a difference to people in that situation?
I'd probably have, first of all, God first. And then my husband and kids, honestly, they keep encouraging me to not give up.
Yeah,
to keep hoping for the big dream.
Yeah, it's a family thing.
They all know. Yeah. So I just keep plugging away at the small parts, but they're like, you were made for more than this, stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
God gave you a dream for a reason. So
He did.
Anyway.
He did.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer that He tries you with something little. If you do quite well at that, He tries you with something a bit bigger, doesn't He?
Yeah.
And then eventually He goes, okay, time to go for it.
Right. Yeah. Which is a little scary. I mean, the whole big picture is like, can I really do that?
Yeah. No.
So,
and the answer is you can't do it without Him. So,
no, not at all. And a lot of other people
hasn't it?
that know a lot. So, yeah.
So knowing what you know now, what's the number one piece of advice that you would give to other people who are pursuing a big voluntary goal?
Okay, so I wrote this down.
Oh, thank you.
I have notes. And so it's not, I don't know, it's without one thing. But what I said was small steps count.
Yeah.
Towards your goal, and just start. And then find people who are behind or with you. So those 3 things are super important to do anything.
particularly like that last one. I would do, wouldn't I, because of how bright can we shine. But that idea that we all need someone who's cheering us on, don't we? We all need someone, you can do it, you can do it. You've got your family who's doing that, and that helps keep you going, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I feel a bit like we're in a similar situation in How Bright Can We Shine. It's new. We've got a massive vision. And, you know, Karen and I started off by cheering each other on, and now we've got more people who are cheering us on. And so that becomes more exciting and more believable as time goes by. So, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
So awesome. I just want to say that I'm so excited to see how this moves forward, and it's just been such a joy to meet you, and you know, to be in touch and to see how we can work together. And so I want to say thank you very much for your time in this interview. It'll be interesting to hear what people have got to say about it when they hear it.
Yes.
So if anybody has got any comments, if anybody can think of any ways to support Sue, if you've got any experience or expertise in anything like strategic planning or project management or getting funding applications, if you live in Washington State, or, you know, or if you just want to be part of a prayer group, then just make a comment below and Sue can see those comments and she can be in touch with you. If you want to be part of her project, that's going to be up on the site in the next day or two. Sue, have you thought of a name for the project?
Well, I want to have a university as part of this, the whole complex. And I was going to name it Hope University.
Hope University.
Yeah.
So the Hope University project.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So we'll put that into the projects list. We're going to get some photographs and put those in.
Yeah.
And we're going to see what God has in store for us. So thank you very much, Sue. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. It's been fun.